What's going on, everyone? It's Chris from 416 Coffee, and this is episode 7 of the Beans and Business podcast. So today, by popular demand, me and Carm are here to answer all of your questions that you sent in. So yeah, we'll get right to it. Carm, do you have any opening words for the listeners? Any opening words for the people watching?
Just listen.
Just listen. Jesus, holy shit. This is how we're starting off. Okay. All right, so we got some guiding questions. I asked everyone on Instagram to shoot us their questions.
Can't wait.
That we can answer on here. So we'll start off with let's start off with some of the fun ones. The people want to know about your hair tips. That's the first one.
Keep brushing forward, then brush backwards. Put a little bit of oil in there. Let it sit.
Do you have any product recommendations for them?
You know what? I use all kinds of shampoos. I use all kinds of conditioners. There's not one that I just stick with.
So there you have it here, people.
I just use whatever works. So
whatever works. Okay.
That's it.
Hair products, no recommendations. Super simple. Okay. Easy. That was one of the fun ones. The second fun one was, what's the best length for soccer shorts? And it's obviously extremely short.
Extremely short. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'll go with that.
Yeah. Let's say I'd say
short
like,
shorts.
Yeah. Like maybe a 5-inch inseam.
That's it.
Yeah. That kind of thing.
Okay. Let's do that.
Okay. Maybe not a 3, but a 5-inch for sure.
Yeah. At least 5.
At least 5. Okay. Now, okay. Well, let's get into, we'll get some easy ones first. Okay. Here's a good one, actually. Will you open more 416 coffees in Niagara? So you can take this first and then I'll paddy wagon.
You know what? In Niagara, I think keeping them like not one on top of the other. Like we don't want to be like these franchises that just oversaturate the market. We want to be. I don't think we will. Like in Niagara, well, maybe another one in Niagara, maybe another couple, but like nothing one on top of the other. I don't want that. I don't want to. Like we want people to come out and have an experience with us and. Understand that, you know what, this is where we're going to go and get fresh roasted coffee, and it's locally roasted, and the taste, the flavors, the experience in the coffees, the different drinks.
Yeah. And
have like an exclusive. We don't want it just to be like, just bastardize it and just, you know what, just same old shit just being pushed out.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Niagara maybe has like another one or two in areas that we haven't been yet, but yeah, definitely not trying to cannibalize sales, like, because right now, people at both of our locations, people drive from surrounding areas to go there. So maybe we'll do another one that would make it more convenient for some of the market. But the idea is to have.
Oh, shit. Hold on.
Yeah, you can take that. You can take that. Anyways, Carm's taking a phone call. But yeah, so we're thinking. I can't believe this happened 3 minutes in. We're thinking. Probably another one or two in the region as a whole, but nothing that would be in either of the cities that we're already in. That's kind of where we're at right now. Just not to, like I said, just not to cannibalize sales.
I'm back.
There we go. Carm's back from, who was that?
I don't know. Some guy's telling me that this is Revenue Canada.
Your duck needs cleaning?
No, Revenue Canada. We have to. You know what? We're gonna come over there. We're gonna take you away in a paddy wagon. You're going to be arrested because you didn't pay your taxes.
Yeah, I know you love those calls.
Oh, I just love them. I couldn't take the time out and talk to them for a while so I could play around with them for a bit. Waste their time like they're wasting mine.
All right, one more fun one, and this is actually from Spicy in Australia.
Spice.
So Spice, we miss you. I hope you see this. Spice asked who would win in a fight.
Between who?
Me and you.
Me and you.
Me and you.
Shit. I would, of course. Come on, guys.
I don't know.
Like, come on.
I don't know, man. This is
like, seriously.
I already knew.
Really?
When I saw this question, I'm like, I already know Carm's going to say he's going to win in a fight.
Of course. The experience.
Okay, here's what we'll do. You guys comment below who you think would win in a fight, me or Carm. I already know Carm's going to win just based on, the hair care tips and whatnot. So, but you guys comment below and let us know. Spicy, we miss you. Thank you so much for asking that question. Okay, lit over lattes. She's asking about healthier coffee options. I'll take this first, then you can say. So when you're talking about like healthy coffee, I mean, coffee black at the end of the day is like only 5 calories if we're talking about it kind of in that sense. So I'd say the healthiest coffee you could be drinking is something that you can enjoy black, is something that is freshly roasted, is something that is, sourced in such a way that it's not super like pesticide. It's very hard to find like even certified organic coffee in our industry. The USDA allows a shit ton of pesticides to still be sprayed, and it can be called organic. So honestly, that certified organic label is kind of a misnomer. Like once you look into it,
But also, I just want to jump in really quick on that. It's like even our buddy Juan.
yeah,
Remember, he came up to us and he's like, we asked him, is you certified organic and this and that. And he's like, hey, you can get up 2,200 meters above there and bring the pesticides. He goes, go ahead.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Like, especially when you have like forest grade coffees in Ethiopia and things like that growing, where the coffee's growing pretty much wildly, and it has been growing there. So yeah, I'd say, but as far as like for calories and things like that, if you can drink coffee black, it's only like 5 calories. So I'd say find something that you like enough to drink black. That's my healthy coffee tip. I don't know if you have any, Carm.
No, just black. Black's the best way to have your coffee, taste and enjoy it. You can actually get everything out of that coffee. Like, I mean, yeah, I would stick with the black.
Yeah, just drink it black.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it. Because,
different tastes, different flavors from different regions, different altitudes. It's amazing.
Yeah,
like now that Jamaican Blue Mountain is friggin' amazing.
No, it's great.
It's
phenomenal.
Absolutely amazing.
No, for everyone who did that, there's still a very small amount left if you get in your orders quickly. But, it's drink it black. Okay, that's pretty simple. I thought that was going to be an easy one. Next one. She's talking about acid in coffee. So acidity in coffee.
It's flavor.
Acidity is flavor in coffee. So coffee doesn't have, people describe coffee as sweet. There's no glucose or fructose in coffee. So you're not going to get sweetness out of coffee that is similar to something that has sugar in it. Sorry, go ahead. You look like you got something to say.
Oh, no, I was just thinking, like, I mean, a lot of people come in and they tell me that, they have, like, throughout the years, 22 years I've been doing this, they tell me that, coffee gives them acidity in their stomach. After they drink it, they get heartburn and this and acid reflux. And then I ask them what they're drinking, and a lot of them are drinking, like, store-bought coffees, or they're drinking a lot of those coffees have Robusta in it, double in caffeine, very, very high in acidities. That's why I mean drinking it black. You drink black coffee, you taste Robusta. Well, the first time I ever tasted Robusta was probably about 20 years ago, and we were roasting up in Toronto, and my cousin bought it. He's the one who taught me how to roast, and he bought it back because he would use it, because my cousin was with me, and he was showing me how to roast and stuff like that, and he was using a traditional Italian espresso, which has Robusta in it. So I said to him, John, let me try some of this like that, because I wanted to try it. So we ran it, and we put it through the espresso machine. It's horrible.
It's undrinkable.
It tastes like, the first thing that I got out of it is plastic, rubber, very, very bitter. No really taste of coffee. And that stuff is the stuff that gives you the heartburn, gives you the upset stomach. So if you're drinking coffees, like, I understand, I really believe in, if you pay the price for something, like, I'm not saying go crazy that you have to pay millions of dollars. Like, I mean, something reasonable, but get yourself a good coffee. You really won't get that. You really won't, unless you drink a shitload. Well, then what do you want? Like, I mean, it's like everything else, man. You're abusing it. Like, take it easy, right?
I would say, yeah. As far as like acidic coffee goes, I mean, if let's say you're buying coffee from a specialty place like ours, I would say look for like coffees that are water processed, so washed. That's an easy one. And then as far as brew method goes, I would say use something with a paper filter, because that's going to take out a bit in the actual brewing process. But yeah, once again, it's like, make sure you're buying high quality coffee. Like I said, ask the barista, whoever's working, ask them about processing method. So if you can buy a washed coffee, that's probably key. Most coffees are washed, I'd say. Right now, there's actually naturals are coming back into fashion.
Naturals are amazing. I love naturals. Naturals are probably one of my favorite coffees.
Yeah, natural processed coffee is, so what Carm's talking about is like pretty much when the coffee cherries are dried in sunlight and then pulped through a process, whereas washing, they go to what's called a wet mill.
Yep.
And then the coffee's put through the wet mill, and that's how you remove like the cherry and everything like that.
And then a lot of times they let them sit in those big water tanks for washing off the rest of it, and then they put them out in the sun.
Yeah, like almost like fermentation. I'm trying to see if there's any more of these questions. One lady asked about kind of ethical sourcing practices and things like that. So pretty much what we do is we work with a series of importing partners that have like more traceable lots of coffee. As an industry, I'd say it's getting better at being traceable, but it's still not perfect. Anyone who says it's a perfect system as far as the traceability with coffee is lying. So it's getting better, but it's still not 100% traceable.
No. And I think I think nowadays, like, I mean, there is a story behind it, but I think they just freaking glorify the story even more.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
They make it more than what it really is. Like, I mean, now I've been in the business for 22 years. Now you've been in the business now for a while now too.
Yeah.
You've been in almost 10 years. And like sometimes, we sit there and we read some of these from other places, and we're like, come on.
Yeah,
really?
that's not the way. And then it's funny because we've talked to people, and we won't mention any other roasters, but we've talked to people who are on the ground, and they're like, oh yeah, like that roaster? Yeah, it's not actually happening like that.
Yeah.
Like this is what's actually going on. So yeah, there's a lot of
bullshit.
There's a lot of bullshit, a lot of storytelling, I'd say, going on. What I would say is that the industry as a whole is getting better. We are paying, like, obviously well above market price for specialty coffee. So if you're buying specialty grade coffee, which is an SCA score of over 80 or 85, I can't remember right now, which is all we bring in, then we're paying premiums for it, and farmers and things like that are making more money. Is it perfect yet? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I mean, I forget, there was a statistic where it's like if everyone who touched a coffee cherry, a coffee bean, was paid like a United States minimum wage, I forget what we'd be paying, like $50 a cup of coffee or something like that, or something. There was some statistic like that.
Absolutely, but we still got to take into consideration that even the coffees that we're buying, and we are paying more for them, and we do want to help out the farmers and stuff like that, but we are actually paying them a little bit more money, and they are making some money off of it too. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, everybody thinks this coffee industry, like, we're making mega bucks, but we're working on nickels and dimes too. We got to push volume.
100%.
And that's what people don't get, right? Like, I mean, everybody wants to get into the coffee business because they think, you know what, I'm just going to get this 2-pound roaster. I'm going to roast, I don't know, but 50 pounds a month. And you know what, I'm going to be driving around in a Ferrari tomorrow. Meanwhile, you got to push, thousands of pounds of coffee to make even a living.
Yeah, no. And what I would say is, like, if anyone out there is worried about changing the coffee landscape as far as like farmers getting paid more and things like that, don't buy shit grocery store coffee.
Absolutely.
Don't buy any of those traditional brands, Maxwell's, Folgers, any of that shit. Because as long as you can go to the grocery store and buy like a $13 2-pound tin of like God knows what, as long as that exists, we're never going to have, like, farmers are never going to get paid their due. So I'd say, like, yeah, buy specialty, pay more, and then you'll see the trend like drip down to the farmers and to the other people touching the product.
So here's another little quick thing that, like, me, I like watching all these documentaries and stuff like that. I just love it, right? So I'm sitting here watching this one documentary. I don't know if I'm allowed to say fucking actual brand names.
No, you can. Yeah, no.
I can.
Yeah,
okay. So Maxwell House, apparently, when they first started off in, I think it was in the 30s, in the 40s, Second World War started happening off. They started inventing everybody started going to the freeze-dried coffee, instant coffees, like you were just doing the other day. Exactly, right?
The worst shit ever.
So what ended up happening was there was a shortage of coffee, right? So Europe got hit with it. Everybody got hit with it, right? And apparently Maxwell House was taking shavings from like a wood mill.
Like carpentry,
like in a wood mill. They were taking these shavings, they were putting them inside the coffees, because the coffee, after they would roast them and all that, they would roast the coffee, would actually change the coffee of the
color.
color of it, so you couldn't tell.
shit.
So people were putting it through filters, so they would just fill it up with volume, right?
Oh my
So
God.
that's why. So a lot of these people, a lot of the places, I don't know if it's 100% true, but it was a documentary on coffees and stuff like that. I looked it up, and there's some kind of like they say yes and they say no to it. So I don't know what truth is behind it, but that's just going to show you. Like, I mean, manufactured coffee, fast, you know, in a tin. Here you go. Like, I mean, one way or another, you're paying for, right? They have to pay for all that equipment. You have to pay all that.
No, exactly.
So somebody's got to pay for this. So they just push massive volume again.
It's because I mean, from a business standpoint, if you look at it, I mean, you see, so the consumer pays, let's call it $15 on a grocery store shelf for this shit, and like, so Maxwell House has to make money. The grocery store, Zehrs, has to make money. There's shelving fees. There's packaging. Guys, it's you're paying, like, the actual coffee in there is probably worth nothing. We're talking like maybe $1.50. Like, it's wild.
Here's the best. This is what blows my mind. The best thing ever is everybody with these K-cups. Guys, just stop. Like, I mean, like, we got pounds of coffee for $20. People come in there and they're like, oh, don't you think that's a little bit steep? But yet they have K-cups, because then they ask you to grind it for their K-cup. Guys, do the math. You're paying anywhere between $36 to $40 a friggin' pound.
Yeah.
You guys don't look at it. Look how much you're getting of actual coffee, because it does state it right there on the box. And see what you're paying for that, and see how much it is per pound. You're paying $36 to $40. And believe me, it's not first grade coffee.
No, it's
that's commercial grade.
The garbage that is in the bottom of the machine.
Unbelievable.
Okay, that was a good rip. Well, let me see. We got some more questions. So James hit us with 3.
Oh shit.
All right, let's start with this one. So, beyond the origin story of like starting a business, me and you, what's the day-to-day like of working together? Carm, you can go first.
What's the day like? The day like? Well, you know what? We finally figured out, I must say, like a routine. We know we know what our jobs are. We know what we have to do. So I think it got better. I think at the beginning it was a little bit, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We were both chasing our tails. I think sometimes we were burning the candle on both ends and not getting where we wanted to get as quick as possible. But now I think we figured out that, you know what? I'm going to stick to this. You're going to stick to that. We do our strengths. We pull our strengths together, and we succeed in a quicker getting to the places where we have to be a little bit faster. I think it works out a little bit. I think it works out better, because what I bring to the table is a lot of experience and knowledge, but I don't bring the top end, the other end of it, which is like this.
Yeah.
What we're doing now in the marketing and stuff like that. I'm not. Well, if you guys don't know it yet, I'm not that great with computers. So
No. Well, yeah. Like, what Carm's saying is,
I can fix them.
Yeah, Carm can take something apart and put it back together, but Carm cannot operate an email, and I'm the complete opposite. Like, you give me a wrench, I'm fucking lost, but I can work on a computer. So no, I'd say like, yeah, we have different strong suits. As far as like a day in the life, it's like, I don't know, we usually meet for coffee. And then there's like, game planning, war planning, what's next. So I'd say some days are like long-term stuff where we're like, okay, what's next? We're doing like long-term planning. We're thinking about, new spaces, new ideas in store, new promotions. We're tasting new coffees, things like that. Then there's other days that are just like straight putting out fires. Like, something shit blew up at Grimsby. Let's go over there and fix something. This happened that we totally forgot about. Let's go do that. So it's a mix, but I'd say, yeah, day to day, it's like phone calls of like, debriefing over what happened and meeting up for a lot of coffee. And then occasionally like, some good yelling matches about ideas, which is always a good time.
That's not a good time. I always win.
I don't think you would. I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
But you know what? Just coming back to that too, I just remembered. Like, I mean, I always remember that one time that we went to see. Remember Jim Treliving and
Who else
guy-
was on that panel?
The Lava Life guy. He
Yeah.
started it.
I can't remember his name right now. But
Remember? And he was the one who turned around, and that's what really, really triggered me, because I was always that guy that had to do everything. You know, I had to put out this fire, do that. I had to think of this, think of that, and it was always, I was the guy that thought that it was me, right? But meanwhile, then when I heard that guy, I can't remember his name either, and he says, everybody keeps on.
Bruce Croxton.
That's it, and he goes, everybody keeps on, telling me, what a great job and this and that. And he goes, guys, I had a team. He goes, I put my team together. He goes, I had everybody do their things. And you know what? We meet and we discuss. He goes, but everybody had their jobs to do.
No, exactly. It's even now, like we've built a great team. We're building a great team around us, and we have a lot of like great people with us. And it's, that's what you have to do. And the thing is too, is like as an employer, as an entrepreneur, now that like employs people, for us, it's also like listening to other people, right? Like, don't get me wrong. You have to balance, obviously using your gut and your intuition as well, because you're driving the ship. But a lot of times your employees have great ideas. Your team has great ideas that you need to, take the reins on and move in a direction.
Well, sometimes, I agree. Because sometimes, somebody from the outside sees something that you don't. Like, you might see it later on, but maybe somebody catches on quick and sees it right away, and you're like, oh, shit.
Well, I'd say especially now, because like me and you obviously physically aren't in the cafes as much. You can still catch us in there sometimes, but we're more like behind the scenes now and managing and running and doing all those things. So any input from our team that's on the front lines, that's interacting with our customers, that's like massively important, because they have a read for what's going on right now with the people coming in. Whereas, we, like I said, we're still in there a bit, which is good, because you don't want to become so away from that you kind of lose your sense of bearing. But it's good to
touch base.
It's good to touch base, and it's good to have like direct contact with the people working in the front so that you can do that. Okay, so the next question that James asked is James threw in a few goodies. So that was kind of the day-to-day. So he says, being an entrepreneur takes up an extraordinary amount of time. How do each of you view the concept of work-life balance? All right. Do you want me to take it first?
Go ahead.
Like, I don't think like work-life balance doesn't exist when you're an entrepreneur, in the sense that like we're always working to a certain extent. You know what I mean? I mean, there's brief moments where maybe you're not. I mean, it's hard. Like I talk about business with my friends. I talk about, it's part of like our identity, I guess, at this point in our life, or in all aspects. So there's never a time you're not thinking about it. Never a time you're not, you're not even kind of aware of like what's going on. So I'd say like, but that's not to sound negative. I mean, I enjoy what I do. Yeah. Like I enjoy, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be doing. So yeah, so but no, like, I don't know, all these people that want to go on, like, people love going on fucking vacation and shit and getting away, and then, which is fine. I mean, listen, like if you work a 9-to-5 job and you fucking pray for the weekend all week, then
that means you're not happy.
Exactly. But
you're not enjoying what the fuck you're doing.
No, that's it. So I know, but with us, work-life balance, I don't know. Don't like, it's just one thing. There's just life. It's not work and life.
But it's like even people say, okay, let's take going away on a vacation. Let's be honest. Watch this. I come up to you, I say, you know what? We're going to go to, let's throw Brazil. We're going to go down to Brazil. What's the first thing you want to do when you get there? I know what I want to do.
Coffee?
Yeah, I want to go see a coffee plantation. I want to go see the whole friggin' thing. I want to go check it all out.
Yeah.
Let's go to Hawaii. Well, yeah.
Coffee.
I want to go to Maui. I want to go check out.
Yeah, exactly. Even Cuba.
There.
You're like,
fucking Cuba.
Coffee.
Yeah. Go up on the side of the mountain. Go check it out. See how it's all done. Talk to the people.
No, I think
it's just part of a life.
No, it's good to have breaks and stuff, but as far as like me personally, at least, it's like this is what I'm doing. But there's not work and then life happens. Like it's just life.
It's all one.
It's all one thing. Yeah. So like my work is part of who I am. It's part of my identity. It's part of the thing that I do, and it's how I meet. Like I've met like so many great people through work, through business, right? So.
Yeah.
So exactly, yeah. So I don't really see work. I feel like if you're looking at things like here's work and here's the rest of my life, I I feel like you're doing something that you're not really into. If you that's your perspective on it.
Because you're trying to separate them, right? So once you start separating them, you're going to be like, oh, you know what? You need a break. But then you're like, but I like this break. And so that means you're not really liking what you're doing. Like
no, exactly.
Sort of kind of like, yeah, I like it, but I rather like that Saturday where you don't want to go with the boys, have a couple beers.
Yeah, and like everyone needs that. Right? Everyone needs that.
Absolutely.
But if you're living for that, if you're like,
waiting for that weekend.
Exactly. If you're like pumped up for that weekend and that's like all you can think about and you're just like going through the motions like at that 9 to 5 or whatever, then like I think you need to reconsider what you're doing. I mean, obviously there's parts of the job that we both don't like.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Like, I don't fucking love doing bookkeeping.
I don't like going around to other people's and fixing their machines.
Yeah, exactly. Packing coffee is not the most exciting thing.
Ooh, imagine when we used to do it before by hand.
That was fucking awful. Oh, my God. So
hours and hours of just sitting there by hand.
Me and Carm used to pack coffee. Like, we used to... I mean, now we have a machine that doses 1 pound into each bag, and you just hold it under, press a pedal, it pumps the coffee in, and then you seal it. So it's like a pretty quick process. We used to measure it out by hand with a scoop and a scale, and we would pack coffee for literally like entire days would be spent scooping coffee into bags. It was awful.
Yeah, that's a thing that, there you go. You love it or you don't. Right? If you love the actual business and you like being around it, you know what? Yeah, you don't like doing some of those things, but then the other ends, the business come out and they're like, yes, I love this.
No, 100%.
Meeting the people, tasting the coffees, interacting with people, stuff like that. Like, I mean, it's just amazing. I love it.
Coming up with new like drink ideas, tasting new coffees.
By the way, I just did come up with a new drink idea. Just to let everybody know.
Yeah.
I came up with a new one.
It's coming soon.
It's coming soon. And I think this one's going to be right out of the ballpark.
It'll be a fun one for sure.
Yeah.
And that's something we do that I guess is different. I feel like a lot of other like specialty coffee places are pretty snotty about like, I don't know, not making syrups, not having kind of fun with their coffees a bit. But here, like, our goal is to make coffee also, like, as much as we take it super serious for us, but it's also to make it approachable and easy for people who are new to specialty coffee to get into it. So yeah, that's new drinks.
You give somebody a something to come to, right? Like, I mean, they come over to our place, they try out a new drink, then they really like it, and they're like, "You guys gonna bring it back?" And you're like, "You know what? We're gonna stay with our main staples for now, and then we'll maybe later on we'll bring out something else."
It's like the chocolate orange.
Everybody wants that.
Everybody wants that. Like, come November, that comes out, and everybody wants it. And like, everyone wants it in the summer. Everyone wants it all the time. The chocolate orange.
Hard to make. I need the fresh oranges. Like, that's another thing, right? Everything, all our ingredients are all fresh.
Yeah.
There's no artificial flavors, no additives, chemicals, nothing. So.
No, none of that bullshit. Okay, James has got another one for us.
James, what the hell, man?
You just lit it up. Okay. You said, Carm,
yes.
What do you think Chris's favorite part is about being an entrepreneur? What do you think is his least favorite?
Partying with you.
Yeah, there we go. James, right here. Best part of being an entrepreneur, getting drinks with James.
Oh, shit. What was the first part of that question again?
So it was, what do you think is my favorite part of being an entrepreneur?
I think you like the challenges. I think you look forward to those challenges. I think you like figuring out things and moving forward. If I really have to go, I like it when somebody comes after us, like in different ways, like either other roasters and stuff like that, or other coffee places, and you just sit back and I see you just sit there and you start festering.
Oh yeah,
and the smoke starts coming out of the ears.
No, we're
and
like
then,
so.
And then you
that's very true, actually.
And then you don't say anything for a little bit, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on with him? And then all of a sudden I see you, and you're like, you know what? I got to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Now we're going to fucking go. Now we're going to go. That's it. This is going to be a war now.
No, we're both like super competitive people. So to anybody who's watching this who's like potentially a competitor, the best thing you could do is leave us the fuck alone. Because like if you motivate us to fuck you up.
Buddy, I'll eat bread and fucking onions if I have to just to fuck you up.
No, exactly. That's it. Like, it's done. It's game. Like, it's, you know, it's played itself out a couple times and it's going to continue to. And Yeah, no, I'm super competitive. So if you give me a direct target as far as like someone trying to put us down or talk shit about us or, you know what I mean, trying to be underhanded with us, right?
Yeah.
You fucking fake Google reviews, you bums. Yeah, like we're gonna come after you, and we're gonna like, you know. The other thing is this is a long game, so I think a lot of competitors, you know, they come out and they do something to spur something on with us or whatever, and then, you know, this is a long game. We'll come get you. It might take a year. It might take 18 months, but we're going to come get you.
But the best shit is a lot of these guys come after us, and, like, we control the whole fucking thing. We control it from roast to fucking into the store, into everything. Like, we can go tomorrow morning and say, you know what? We're going to go for fucking 2 months of free coffee.
we can
There
pivot
you
at
go.
any time. We could do, we can drown you if you want to, like, don't compete on price with us because if we wanted to, we could drown you. It's not interesting to us because obviously it's a premium product. That's not what we're doing, but
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
no, we've done a lot to control our systems. The other thing is, like, I think we're both willing to outwork other people.
Let's
You know,
do it.
When we started Port, we were working 12-hour days, both of us putting in, like, you know, easy 70, 80-hour weeks if you, like, counted all the time at the factory and all those shit we were doing. Like, it was craziness, you know what I mean? So, and we did that for... We didn't hire anyone for 18 months. It was just me and Carm, and then like Nicholas and Julia were working Saturdays. But other than that, like that's all we did. You know,
People burnt out. And then the kids were only working on Saturdays.
that's what I mean. They were
That's
only
it.
working Saturdays, so that's what I mean.
Right.
We were just doing it 24/7, like and like at 12-hour days, like so yeah. We're willing to do that, which is also I don't think a lot of people will do it.
No. So what's the second half? What did James say the second half?
What do you think is my least favorite part about running a business?
Packing.
Yeah.
If I have to say.
Yeah.
Working in here, packing, when we have to pack fucking 1,000 pounds, 1,200 pounds every week. And we know we got the machine. It makes it easier, but it still takes some time, right? You still got to be in here. You got to still take some time. It still takes that 2-3 hours out of your day. Or delivering when Jerry can't.
I fucking hate delivering so much.
Jerry does it, and I don't know how he does it, man. He gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and he just fucking...
He goes.
He
Shout
just
out to
gets in
Jerry.
there, and he just goes, and he doesn't complain, and then after he comes by, and he's like, yeah, I need a coffee now. And I'm like, Jerry, fuck, take 2 coffees. I don't care.
Yeah, you do whatever you want, buddy. Yeah, no, shout out to Jerry. No, I'd say, like, then he asked the same thing, but for me about you. So I'd say your favorite part of being an entrepreneur, of running business, is creating things. So I think, like, you always enjoy the process of, like, when we're building new spaces, like that vision, creating new coffees, creating new drinks, like that's your thing. It's like making new things. Like I think that's your thing, is being creative and things like that. I'd say your least favorite part is like probably just like, like the same shit, like bookkeeping, like all that kind of shit, writing checks, like cashing checks is nice, writing them less. So
it hurts when I got to put my signature onto all those checks.
Yeah, exactly. You get finger cramps. It's a problem.
Hey, Glenn, you hear this? Maybe we got to work on something here.
That's it. Yeah, Glenn. But yeah, no, I'd say that's probably the biggest. Your thing is like creating new spaces and stuff.
I like thinking of different stuff, right? So like, I mean, when I see a space, I want to see something like I picture something different. I like looking at what other people have done. A lot of people have some great ideas. It's just great. And sometimes I just like taking that idea and just try to incorporate it with my idea and see if I can put something together. But yeah, I love doing that. Or even creating the drinks. Like I like sitting back and even creating the drink, just a simple drink. Like, I mean, it might not be much, but it's something that when I see somebody drinking, they're like, wow, this is amazing. And I'm like, you know what? I feel good about that. Like, I mean, you know, at least I put a smile on somebody's face, but somebody really enjoyed something that I done. Or when they taste my coffee and they say it's the best coffee that I've ever had. Or they taste it and they're like, you know what, that really tastes different than something else. And I really like that. It makes me feel good.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's
Like
a
that
good feeling.
satisfaction of like doing something well.
And then when me and James get together and we go head to head about the tasting it, but damn, he's got a good palate.
James does have a good palate.
Frig, man.
James has a great palate.
Yeah. He picks out stuff sometimes that I haven't picked out, and I'm like, damn.
You're right.
You're right, man.
Yeah.
That's fucking good. You're absolutely right. And he's like, and then, or sometimes I'll go over to him and I'll say, James, you know what? I pick out this and this, but there's something in the back I can't really get. And it's like that third flavor, and it's just so hard to get. And he's like, yeah, I picked out that. Yeah, I got that. He's like, you know what, Carmine? He goes, I think it's this. And I'm like, okay, let me try it. Man, you got it right on the money.
It is that, James.
It is that.
Right.
Like, what the frig?
Yeah, no, he's shout out to James. He's good shit. So what advice would you give to someone who's starting a business right now? Like, what are kind of like, I don't know, 3 or 5 like core principles you would say for someone starting a business? Because I feel like a lot of people who are going to watch this are like younger people who are interested in, there's a glamorization of entrepreneurship, of running businesses. So like, what would you say people need to be prepared to do, people need to think about if they're going to start a business?
I'd say number one, be sure that's what you want to do. Because you're going to be putting a lot of time in it. Lots. And there's going to be ups and downs. Like, I mean, as you know, I failed a lot of times. But I stayed in the coffee business. I didn't leave. Like, we've had a hard time getting here. So it didn't happen overnight. And it's not because I didn't try. It's because you keep on trying. And you keep on putting in the time. And things work and things don't work. And then you figure out different things. So be prepared to put the time in. You know? And patience. Young people, if I can give one word of advice for a lot of young people out there, patience. Nobody has that anymore. Everybody needs everything today, right now. I need that Ferrari today. I need that $1 million home today. I need my business to make $10 million. Like, it doesn't happen. It doesn't. Like, unless you win the lottery or unless you, like, even if you hear the story, well, we read the story of Howard Schultz, right?
Yeah.
With Starbucks. Like,
Starbucks.
I mean, he had a fucking shit of a time. And that man, you know what? I give him credit. He built himself, to where he is today. He had investors and stuff like that, but he had people backing him up at the beginning. But nobody wanted to back him up at the beginning. It was after a while at the beginning that he took on this venture and, and he put himself to the grindstone and started going. So I would say patience, be prepared for the long haul. Yeah. Don't give up.
No, if you're gonna go for it, I mean, then yeah, it's a big commitment. I would say
enjoy it. Make sure you enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, you got to have this mentality of like, yeah, you have to want to do it and really want to succeed. It is, like Carm said, it's a massive time investment. So be prepared to work a lot.
And guys, don't like, if I could just say one thing, sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
You know what? Don't be. Okay, I'm going to tell you a really quick story. Can I tell a quick story?
Yeah.
Okay, real quick story. I'll just tell you a quick story. I'm a mechanic by trade, licensed mechanic by trade, right? That's where my creativity comes in and stuff like that. I love cars. So I was working at Goodyear, and I just, things were going okay, but I was working and stuff like that. And I sort of kind of dabbled in the coffee still because I used to do that when I came from Italy. But then my dad goes, oh, you got to learn a trade. So I became a mechanic, right? But I loved being a mechanic, right? I wanted to be a carpenter. Fuck, it lasted one day, fucking hitting nails. Fuck you. Got up. Next day, back sore. I'm fucking 16, 17 years old. My back hurts. My leg hurts. I'm going, what the fuck is this bullshit? I can't do this shit. Well, fuck the carpentry. Very hard. I'm not taking nothing away from people who do carpentry. But, so I tried everything to be a mechanic, whatever. But I was doing coffee first when I came from Italy. And then I got my license, and I was just not. I love cars. I love working on them for myself. I love it, modifying, racing them, all that. Number 7 Honda race team. I used to be part of that. But the whole thing is that I wasn't happy working at 9 to 5 in a garage. So I always remember the coffee industry. I'm bringing you to a real quick point. I'm going to do this quick. Is that I was a mechanic. One day I just woke up. I was working. I came home. I came up to your mother. Like, fuck this. I quit. She's like, what? At that time over there, we had you and we were struggling a little bit. And I'm like, fuck it. I quit. She goes, you're joking, right? I'll never forget it. Her face. And I'm like, no. She goes, what are you going to do? I go, I'm going to go back into the coffee because I really like that. I've always liked that. I was just fooling myself to try to keep my dad happy about fixing cars. Because I had to get a trade. Those old school. Trades are very good, guys. I'm telling you right now, I don't give up my license. Love it. I'm not saying nothing about trades. I'm just saying that I wasn't happy. The point that I'm trying to get at, if you're going to do something, I don't care what it is. If it's a trade, if it's coffee, if it's friggin' painting, just do it. Don't be that in between guy saying, you know what, I'm gonna work my 9 to 5. I'm gonna do this on the side, and then when it gets going, then I'm gonna quit my job.
You're never gonna do it.
No. So like that one thing is, right? You know, burn the bridges. So
burn the ships.
Burn the ships.
Cortez.
Burn the bridges. Fucking just burn everything, man. We're in here. Let's go. Let's fight.
Yeah, let's rock and roll.
So you got to fight.
Yeah. The other thing I would say is like, if you have a steady job, I'd say it's going to be really hard for you to make like a full entrepreneurial jump. It's just going to be hard. It is.
Some people are just meant for that.
No, which is totally fine.
That's
like
fine.
It's totally fine. Like, listen, some days I fucking wish I didn't have to deal with the shit I had to deal with. You know what I mean? It'd be great to wake up, go home, and come home from work, and the job's fucking over. I don't totally understand, but I'm just saying I feel like if you're sitting here right now and you have a job and you get paid, 60, 80, whatever, 50 grand a year, whatever it is, and you're like fantasizing about some business opportunity, it might be a grass is always greener thing, especially if you're used to someone else taking care of your income. Like our employees, they do a fantastic job. They work really hard, but at the end of the day, they go home and their job's done.
Yeah.
Me and Carm sit here and make sure that they get paid. We make sure that their checks are good every time they cash them, right? That's our responsibility. So we're working for them.
How can we increase sales?
We're working for them. We're working here to make sure that our employees go home, cash their checks are always good. So what I'm saying is like if you are used to being on the other end of that, where you work all day, you do a good job for your employer, and you get your money at the end of the week, well, it's going to be very different when your neck's on the line. Yeah. So
how many times have we been also out and let's say tomorrow is a big day. We got to do something. We got to roast and whatever. We got to bring this over here, and we got an event going on over there, and we got a big day. And everybody else is like, "Hey, have a glass of wine or have this and that." And we're like, "Yeah, no. You know what? I got to be there tomorrow. Like, I mean, I got to be 100% on the money.
Yeah,
tomorrow. Like, I mean, you can't."
No. That's
and you got to give that up. You just got to make your decision. You got to say it's either my business or I'm going to party with these guys, and then what the fuck? And then you wake up the next day, you're hungover, you really don't want to do shit.
No, exactly.
Right? Am I right?
No, life's about choices. So like at the end of the day, if you want to do something, it's gonna be a big commitment, and you got to be on the ball. Yeah, you got to be ready to rock, and you're gonna have to give up. My friends, like I remember my friends invited me to go to Spain with them when we had Port had like just opened. I was like, yeah, I can't go anywhere. I haven't been on vacation in my life. I'm 25 years old. I haven't been on vacation.
Well, let's not say that.
What?
What do you mean? When you were racing, we went to California, went to Florida.
Okay, that was like that. Yeah, okay. I wasn't on vacation though. I was at the fucking track all day.
I know. But
no,
still,
I mean, like what I'm saying though is like, yeah, you make those sacrifices, right? Like there's
absolutely.
There's times where you gotta say no to things. But at the end of the day, like it's well worth it. But also like, yeah, just be aware it takes time. Don't look at everyone else's success and think it's gonna happen. This is like even where we're at, and we're not even close to where we want to be.
No,
we're still on our path, and it took like 6 years, right? So just
patience again. Be patient, right?
Exactly.
The other thing that like I would say to people that like want to start and stuff like that, like I don't know, like I mean, like really wanting it, patience, taking your time, putting in the time into all that. And understanding that, another thing I would say is understand that in business, you're not going to know it all. So if you can align yourself, Carnegie used to always say, have your, oh my God, you can have your brain, the people with all
like
these,
a brain trust,
like a group of people that you have to have around you because everybody brings something else, right? So I was reading that in that book, and that's one thing that I would say would be like, just don't think you can do it all. And I used to think that.
Yeah.
I told you until we went to that one seminar and I heard him speak, and he said, it's not just me. I got my team around me. That's what really opened up my mind, that I actually heard this entrepreneur, like not even just reading it, because everybody, you can read stuff and stuff like that, but this was like actually right there. And this guy was saying it right there live in front of everybody. And Jim Treliving was there, and he said he's had help, getting to where he is too.
Yeah, no, you need a team.
So I think, yeah. So don't think that everything's got to come on to you. Like, I mean, you should always have people around you, or if you don't have people around you, find people around you that can give you different advices or a different look at something. And you don't have to take it. You can just listen to it and see where you can make it from there. You know what I mean?
All right. So, Carmen, we've been going for like 45 minutes. We'll wrap it up now.
I think we got to do it another time. I think maybe the people, we're going to ask the people if they want to hear another
Part two?
one.
They want a part two? That's it. The sequel.
The sequel. There you go.
Yeah. So any closing thoughts, closing words of wisdom?
For entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, hang in there. Educate yourself. Read. Be around good people. Like
100%. It's huge.
At the end of the day, there was one thing that I'm very into these little Italian sayings.
Yeah, drop some of those. Those are fucking gold.
So like one of them is, fammi vedere l'amici tu di chi sei, right? So like, I mean, show me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are. You know, so like these little things over here. So so surround yourself with good people. Always try to be with good people. People that are going to help you go forward. Not the people that you don't want to be with people that are jealous of you or something like that. So these are the little things that I would say, right? So and again, like when you were saying about people working and then they don't want to, the grass is greener on the other side. Like we would say. We'd say, lascia strada vecchia per quella che trovi, non sai che lascia, sai quella che trova, right? So you don't know, the road that the road that you're on, but you don't know the other road that you're going to take. So it's always going to be a challenge. So if you're willing to go onto that road, you got to understand that you don't know what's going to be down that road, right? And that's what an entrepreneur is. So an entrepreneur takes his chances. And let's face it, all the books and all the people that we talk to and all the information that we get, but it still didn't bring us to like.
It's
it
knowledge
helped.
is power, but taking action is when it the rubber's got to meet the road at some point. You can read all the books, you can fucking plan till you're blue in the face. I think Napoleon talked about that actually in 33 Strategies for War. He talked about
Love that book.
He talked about how wars aren't fought on maps. No. It was so you can do all the fucking planning you want, but at the end of the day, in the heat of battle, there's it gets crazy. And it's the same thing with starting a business. It's you can plan, you can do everything, and then like something happens and the whole shit gets turned on its head. So
and then you got to think on your toes.
So yeah, be flexible, be prepared for setbacks. Here's actually a piece of advice that I wish I would have. I've just learned, so I'll give it to you right now. However hard you think it's going to be to get to your goal, whatever you're at. Let's say you're starting a business, you want to make, I don't know, you want to make $500,000 a year, whatever. However hard you think it is, multiply that by 10. Literally. Because when you're starting, you have read the books, you did, some sort of analysis. Yeah, you got the calculations. You got the calculator out. You're calculating margins. I got to sell this many units, and I'll buy the Ferrari in a week, and da-da-da-da. And you're doing all that shit. It is going to be 10 times harder than however hard you think it's going to be. Multiply that by a factor of 10, and then you might be close to how hard it's going to be. And I made that mistake. We've all made that mistake at some point. But I remember before we started, thinking like, oh, this is going to be a fucking layup. Like, we have a great idea. We got a good product. Like, it's going to be easy. We're just going to show up and sell people coffee. Like, what could go wrong? And then,
And all the other stuff started happening, and then we got to start thinking differently.
Yeah, then you walk into the first restaurant you go to, and they're like, no, we don't want your coffee. And you're like, what? This wasn't in the fucking book. I didn't plan for this.
Or how about when there's like, oh, yeah, it's good, and this and that. But, I'm going to stick with my guy. Well, you just told me it was good.
Yeah, no, exactly.
What the fuck?
No, it was so hard to like unseat people back then. That was fucking god awful.
Knocking on doors all day.
It was really stupid. We went ass backwards into the coffee industry. Fucking ass backwards.
Making different kinds of mistakes, right?
Yeah. No, our whole formula early on was fucking awful. Looking back at it, really bad.
But you know what? At the end of the day, we still paid the bills.
We did.
We didn't take nothing.
Yeah.
So we were.
Oh yeah. Here's a fun one.
We worked for shit.
Here's a fun one for everyone listening. Who thinks it's fucking easy. Carm, how long was it before you took a paycheck or I took a paycheck from this business? And by the way, people, this is not months. This is in years, the number he's about to give you.
I think 5 years. I
Yeah.
think it was 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah, before we were just making enough money just to pay the rent and the bills over here and put some gas in the car.
We saved.
That's it.
Tried to save. Like, you know what I mean? We saved up.
Yeah.
That's how we opened up Port. Like, we don't have any debt. Like, we opened up Port with our own money. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, we didn't take a paycheck. We didn't do nothing. We just kept the money and we just basically put it into our own business.
that's it.
And I think that's what a lot of people do too. That's another thing is that I'll never forget this analogy really quick. Is that the guy came up and he said that a lot of people take their business and use it as a piggy bank, and that's so great. Like, I mean, that's what they do, right? They just take it and they drain it.
Yeah, and then
But we didn't. We starved. We fucking
yeah, seriously,
or fucking just like on life support.
that's it.
And then, we just moved forward, keep marching forward, right?
No, exactly. That's no people. Yeah, people. I don't think are willing to do. That's another thing you have to be willing to do. Is like there's a real possibility you might not make any money for a good amount of time. So figure out how to deal with that too. Do you have savings? Do you still live at home? Do you have a partner that could support you? Like, you got to figure something out because there's a real possibility you're not going to make money for a little while.
But I remember, can I tell you a story of 2008?
Go ahead.
Or no?
Go ahead. Yeah, tell us so we got time.
2008, it was a shit year for a lot of people, and we used to deal with a lot of restaurants because that's all I used to do was the rrestaurants, right? And just to let people know, people look at us now and they think that, oh, we've made it, this and that. First of all, me and my son, we're working for a paycheck, right? We get a paycheck. We don't get no glamour out of it at this point in time.
Yet.
We're still fucking hustling, and we're still the day to day. But in 2008, just to let you know something, I had like about 120 restaurants underneath my belt, and between Toronto but I had a lot of them in the States too and stuff like that. But everything went to the shits. The States shut down. Everything shut down. Like, we went from hero to zero, like, really fucking quick. And then what ended up happening, we had to sell the house and this and that. Went to live with my mother. We lived on grandma's floor for friggin' 4 months. Then we bought that. Then we saved up a little bit of money. We ended up buying that little townhome that we have. And what ended up happening? We were gutting it all out because Nicholas didn't want to live in there.
Nicholas was crying.
Crying.
He didn't want to live in there.
We had to. We had to rip everything apart. Remember? We gutted it all out. But but I never quit. Right? If it was something else, that's what I want to do. That's why I'm saying the best thing is you gotta love what you're doing, right? And I didn't want to do anything else. So, and then for a year and a half, almost 2 years. Everything was locked up, remember? And then I didn't have, everything was put away, and it was
the coffee stuff. Yeah,
it was horrible. It was absolutely friggin' horrible.
Yeah, no, it was
right, but it was hard times. But you just fought through it, and I knew what I wanted to do. I didn't want to go back to being a mechanic. I didn't want to sit that 9 to 5, 8 to 5, sitting inside a place fixing everybody else's car, and then that wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. So that's why. So hard work, dedication, fucking love what you're doing, man. Just love it.
That's the key.
Yeah.
I think that's the key. Yeah. If you're interested, if this is what you want to do, then you're going to figure it out. If you don't, then probably this isn't for you, but be prepared to make sacrifices. That's probably the biggest thing.
Okay. A lot of great entrepreneurs have failed many times before they get to where they are.
No, it's true.
You could take a lot of them, almost everybody.
100%.
It's not an easy path to the top.
No, absolutely. If it was, everyone would be there, right? So
exactly.
No, okay, Carm. Last question. Okay, then we can wrap it up.
Yes.
Tim Ferriss asked this question a lot. Let's say there's a billboard, millions of people theoretically are going to see it. You can put a saying on it. What would you put on it?
Oh shit. Huh. Be happy with what you're doing. Be happy with what you're doing, man. Love what you do. Love what you do. If I have to just put one thing, love what you do. Because that's everything in your life, right? If you're going to spend, like we do, 12, 13, 14 hours a day just doing this, love what you do, because if you're spending 12, 13 hours on something that you don't like to do, you're living a fucking miserable life.
Absolutely.
Fucking miserable. So love what you do. That's I really believe in that. Like, love what you do. Like, I mean, because when you love what you do, 13, 14 hours, they go by, and sometimes you're like, fuck, I didn't have enough time.
Oh, exactly.
And now you got to go to sleep and wake up the next morning. But now you don't want to go to sleep because now you got an idea in your head and you want to just push it out some way. Or you want to talk to somebody. Or sometimes I even call you at 11 o'clock at night. Fucking, hey, man, I got some. I'm thinking of this, right?
No, exactly.
What do you think of this? This is, right? So love what you do. If I have to put just one thing, you just say, love what you fucking do, man. Make sure you love what you do.
Beautiful. Okay, and on that note, we're gonna wrap it. So, Carm,
yes,
great job. You did a phenomenal job.
Thanks for having me.
Maybe we'll do a part 2 if everyone wants it. And to anyone who stuck with us through this whole thing, thank you so much for watching. And that's it.